Yes boys, so decided I'm going to do some commentary on these highlights videos that I'll be uploading. So I'm doing BPR and PSRL at the moment. So this is, as you will see from the title obviously, BPRL Season 9 Round 2 around Bahrain. And Bahrain not a track I particularly like, but we won it in Australia, so let's see if we can build on that with a good result at Bahrain. You join us on board in quali, just finishing a run on the mediums. I think probably the optimum strategy is medium to hard, but I don't expect to get a good starting position on the medium. So that was the lap that we did. It was a 26.8. It was just a banker really. We're going out again on the softs. This is the fastest lap I did in quali, so it was the lap straight after, I believe. So riding on board down towards turn 1, the DRS wide open. We're looking for the 100 meter board, brake just before that. Use first gear, clip the apex nicely. Short shift into third for this tricky traction zone. Use the curb on the exit, opening the DRS again. 3 attempts up on our medium time, which is to be expected. Medium's quite a bit slower. 100 meter board coming into turn 4. Third gear to get the car turned in. Look to straddle this curb on the exit. A reasonably tidy first sector. Through the S's, using 5th gear and clipping the curb. Try and avoid that curb on the exit, which I didn't do in TSRL, which was 2 days before this. And that hairpin's quite tricky, again using first gear and short shifting to third, the traction on the exit. Again, turn 9 and 10 are a tricky corner, using first gear up into third on the exit, opening the DRS. Currently a second up, and there'll be more time to be found in this last 2 sectors though. Break point for this corner is between the 50 and 100 meter board. Flip the curb on the exit, on the entry, sorry. Keep the car to the left hand side for the swooping long right-hander. Difficult reference point for this corner, but we do it quite nicely. Clip the curb on the inside, using all the track on the exit. Good run down to the final corner now. Aiming for the 100 meter board. And just after that, third gear to get the car turned in, using all of the track on the exit. Run down towards the line now, DRS open again. That's a 25.2, which is our best lap there in quali. A few temps off my PB that one, but a good quali nonetheless. I know Brennan and Ben were quite fast here, BPRL, IMP. We've stuck our car in between the two of them, which is a good qualifying result for us. Didn't expect to do that, but we'll definitely take it going into the race. Yeah, good qualifying. So coming on to the formation lap now. So we've got Ben in front of us, Brennan just behind us. Both guys that I think are quicker than me throughout the race on race pace. So we'll be looking just to stick with them for as long as we can, making sure we're there or thereabouts to come the end of the race. Starts are also something that I'm not very good at on this game, and I think Ben and Brennan are both on the controller, so the aim was definitely just to at least be third, keep them in touch and distance after the first couple of corners and the first few laps, and then see where we end up later in the race. There probably will be safety cars. It's actually quite tricky, Bahrain, to keep it on the road. So yeah, make sure we're just there or thereabouts. The strategy was soft hard, aiming to pit on lap 8 or 9. Obviously safety cars can throw that all in the air, so yeah, we'll just see how we go.
Okay, we finally.
What? No.
Why?
Why? So you've not got damage formation.
Right, here we go, boys. This is it. Oh.
Why is my overtaking on?
As the lights are coming on, got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are away for round 2 in Bahrain. Ben gets a slightly better launch in the second phase especially, and Brennan's come breezing past us. Luckily we're managing to keep all those behind us, so we are in third place. We have lost out to Brennan, but I did say I would be happy, or I was happy in this position, as we actually have a safety car and a 5-second penalty for a severe collision, even though I'm pretty sure I didn't touch him. And looking at the minimap, it doesn't look like anyone has gone off or retired, so a random safety car that's come out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure Ben got a penalty the same as myself, a 5-second one, and it's one that you need to serve in the pit stops. Because of course we have to make a pit stop during the race, it won't be one that we could get removed, so very unfortunate. It's 5 seconds that we won't be seeing, or that we won't be getting back anyway. But Ben's in the same position, so I didn't know that at the time, but we didn't actually lose out too much. But yeah, very annoying. Another bug it seems. Didn't look like anyone was retired. I think it was just a connection thing, but a safety car's been deployed, which is, it changes the complexion of the race dramatically. as we cut to the end of lap 1. And Ben's actually peeled off into the pits, as does my teammate behind me.
So,
So Ben actually goes on to the hard tyres, which I think he was intending to make another pit stop after this. The hards definitely won't go to the end of the race, or if they do, not very quickly from this position. I could only get the hards to last about 20-21 laps in total. So yeah, an interesting decision. An early safety car doesn't impact my decision to pit on it. I was still gonna, well, I was gonna use these couple of laps just to save the tyres a bit more, and get them to lap 9 or 10, make the hard stint a bit easier later in the race. Obviously, Brennan has this similar idea, and so did Killian behind us. Glorious tomato. But yeah, interesting decision from Ben to pit. Not one that I thought was a good idea. If it was going to two-stop from here, then maybe it would be beneficial, but definitely think track position would be important right now. So cutting forward now to the end of the safety car period, it's coming in at the end of this lap. We've got Brennan right in front of us, Killian just behind us, and then Darren and Brandon on the medium tyres behind them, so they'll be ones to watch out for. Running a slightly different strategy. If we need to pit, we need to make sure that we'll be ahead of those guys. And Brennan's gone, he's caught us napping a little bit there. Making sure we can get as good exit as possible, stay in his toe, see if we can get down to turn 1. And the game looks like it's actually slowed us down there. Coming out of the final corner, we've been absolutely mugged by Brennan off the start. Killian and Dara. Dara's moving to the inside of Killian behind us. We're using a lot of overtake to keep these guys behind. Trying to spot the braking point as well as we can. We missed the apex by a country mile. We seem to manage it okay though. Yeah, Brennan's absolutely done us from this safety car restart. We are nowhere in comparison to him so far. We'll have to see how the pace is, see if we can keep with him. I do know that his personal best in quali was quite a lot better than mine, and as I said before, we have got Vettel retiring from the race. Not the real one, unfortunately. Yeah, Brennan is, pace wise, is quicker than me here, from what I'd seen in the weeks leading up to this. So we'll just see if we can keep with him. Got Killian just behind us, only 1 second behind. Through this opening lap though, I think Brennan's pulled about half a second on us from the gap that he had got. As we cut forward to lap 9 now, we see that Brennan's pulled out a 2.5 second gap, I think that is 2.2 gap ahead of us. So he's not too much faster. We haven't had any slipstream or DRS from him in this period. We're actually going to be pitting at the end of this lap, so we managed to take this off to lap 9. When we put on the hard stint of the race, we've got Killian still just behind us. And now Ashley in 4th and Brandon in 5th on the mediums, so ones to watch out for. And we actually have another safety car, as Hoggy looks like he's binned it on the exit of turn 3 and 4. Or 3. Easy to do through there. It is really, really slidey, especially at this point in the race if he was on worn tyres, which he probably was. Yeah, very easy to do. We have an alternate strategy come up, but we're not going to listen to either of those because the game doesn't know what it's on about. So we're going to be coming in end of this lap, putting on the hard tyres and taking these to the end. If we do have a safety car later in the race, then maybe we'll come in for another set of softs or mediums. But the intention from here was just to take the hards to the end. Liam just behind us, probably going to be doing the same thing. And Brennan ahead of us also, probably going to be looking at coming in as well. It'd be interesting to see what those medium runners do. I'll probably come in too. I guess we'll find out in just a moment, so peel off into the pit lane here. Making sure we get it slowed down. Don't want any silly penalties. We do have our 5-second penalty to serve from earlier in the race, which is a shame, and no way for it to be carried over to the end and then removed because it was very silly, but we're going to have to sit here. This will probably... There goes Brennan as he goes past us. Now the team get to work, put the hards on, and there goes Killian straight past us. So Ben takes the lead of the race. Of course he stopped in that first safety car, so he's in the lead. Brennan in 2nd, Killian in 3rd and myself in 4th place. All on hard tyres, all able to go to the end with the exception of Ben. Ben probably does need to stop again. In terms of race time, I mean he could try and take the hards to the end, but it'd be very, very, very difficult to do, and probably not faster to do it that way either. So cutting forward to the end of lap 12,
Well, last time,
Yeah, safety car coming in this lap. Got to make sure we're a lot more on it than we were from the first restart. Brennan mugged us a bit,
Please do.
so we're going to have to be a lot more aware of when he goes, when the cars ahead goes. But be careful that the game doesn't slow us down again like it did from that first restart. We've got to stay on the tails of these guys. Got a better reaction time than Killian. We're right up behind him. And he slowed down and we've nudged him. The game did slow us down as well. It looked like I don't know why he would have lifted on the exit. The game must have slowed him down. We've given him a little nudge. I was in two minds here as to whether to wait for him. But I thought I would wait to see how the first few corners played out. And then decide it wasn't really my fault. But yeah, I should have been given way more space. I did nudge him round a bit, and behind us, Killian has been he's absolutely binned it. I don't know if it was on his own, but I think Brandon was involved as well. Yeah, no point in waiting for him now, so we'll just continue. We've got Ben and Brennan are way ahead at the moment, outside of DRS road, so we have to work hard to reel them back in and close them down. Ben's going to be struggling come the end of the race with tyre wear, and me and Brennan will be looking to go to the end from here, so if there's no other safety car, then Ben's essentially a pit stop down, or a lot of tyre wear down on me and Brennan.
He's got front wing damage.
So we cut ahead to lap 17 now. We have closed in on Brennan and Ben in front of us. A bit of a queue forming up behind Ben, a queue of two. We've managed to get within DRS and slipstream with these guys, which is really helpful for us. I did feel like they were both still faster than me. Maybe not Ben with the tyres that he was on, but I did feel like they had the pace. So us being in this slipstream and towed, we're a lot closer. And it's a lot more close up this lap than it had been the laps previous. So Brennan's actually going to have a look at Ben here. He's moving to the inside. He goes down the inside. We're just going to focus on getting as good an exit as we possibly can. Ben ducks underneath Brennan. Going to go around the outside of turn 2, which he manages to do. Great move there. Brennan's going to come straight back at him. We're going to go around the outside of the pair of them. Brennan very late on the brakes. We've ducked underneath Ben and Brennan, deploying overtake on the exit. And that's two positions in one corner coming into the second sector. It's definitely not done yet. We've got Brennan right behind us. Ben's still there too. But a super move. We've getting two places. Crucial for the race for us. We were being hindered by Dirty Air slightly. Obviously they do have the slipstream on us and they are still right there. So we're going to have to be careful that they don't get us back in the next couple of laps. Managed to pull a little bit of a gap coming into these S's here. But yeah, that is us up into the lead of the race. For the first time in this race. Which is good. That's not a bad thing.
Sean, do you mind just taking out?
So actually cut forward to lap 25 now. So not a lot changed between myself and Brennan and Ben between lap 18 and 25. They're still within slipstream. Ben's just fallen out of DRS from Brennan behind. His tyre's now 24 laps old, so we run a little bit wide on that curve there. His tyres there 24 laps old, so they're definitely falling away. Our tyres aren't in the best of nick either. Yeah, not a lot of change between myself and Brennan. This lap he is a lot closer, 3 tenths behind coming down into this final corner. Again, Ben just slightly out of DRS, so it's looking like it's a 2-horse race now. Coming on to start lap 26, so there'll be 4 laps remaining. Brennan definitely right behind us. We don't have that much ERS to defend. He does set the fastest lap in the process of coming around our outside. We're going to hug the inside, give him a little bit of a squeeze, a tiny bit of contact. We have the better line through turn 2, so we do keep the position. Deploying overtake, he is pushing us up the back straight towards turn 4. We're going to hug the inside again. He's going to go all the way around the outside. And he makes it stick. Brilliant move from Brennan to take back the lead. I do think his pace merited the lead. I wasn't able to drop him at all. Obviously he wasn't in the slipstream, but Dirty Air through the middle sector is a big thing, so he definitely had the pace to stay with us and make that move. So 4 laps to go, including this one. As Brennan locks up slightly, we get a little bit loose coming out of turn 10. And yeah, Brennan in the lead of the race now. We just have to stay with him. We're doing a good job of that so far, but down the main straight into turn 1 is probably our best chance of getting him back. We'll have 3 more attempts at doing that, so not much time left in the rest of the race for us to get the lead back and us pick up our second win of the season. Oh, so we almost lose it on the exit of that curb. Just checking if he's got any penalties. I'll save you listening through the whole spiel, but he doesn't. We had 2 warnings at this point, so did have to be a little bit careful with track limits. We don't have much ERS to play with either, so not using any on this lap. Seems to have got a good enough exit away from us, so he is going to hold on to the lead on this lap. We've got a back marker just ahead of us, which might throw up a few surprises. It's a much better exit than us through turn 4. We are close enough to think about making a move. Ben behind is starting to fall back now quite a lot, so we don't have to worry about him behind. We can take a few risks. Not too big, obviously. Can't just go sending it. Second place would still be a good result. Brennan didn't score in Australia, but obviously not going to be thinking about that. We definitely want to win, as our rear tyres now took over to 60%. So I can't imagine what Ben's are on. Sorry, where they're like 10 laps older than ours. Still 3 laps to go, including this one, so there is a slight chance of a puncture as well if we get towards the 75% region, which is very doable, where we're pushing as hard as we are. Still definitely well within the DRS range of Brennan, so we're going to have a look as we completely mess up the turn of that corner. We're going to be having a look down into turn 1. Still not too much ERS to use. We'll just see how he uses his deployment of the final corner. Up into Rich. Activating the DRS. We're going to save a little bit for the last lap. Or coming on to the last lap anyway. See if we can get him back. Not quite close enough this time. We're definitely close enough to be thinking about having a go. If we did have a bit more ERS to use, we could think about sending it down into turn 1, but not quite enough at the moment. Onto the penultimate lap now, of course. Only really one more go down the main straight. Obviously on the last lap it will be the finish line before you can get a chance to overtake, so we've got one more go at this really. Still within 4 attempts. You can see Ben behind. It's dropped down to 6 seconds behind as Brennan gets a little bit leery out of that hairpin. Puts us closer than we have been before. And he locks up into there. We do a little bit too.
I reckon he went for that lap.
Up into Rich and activate the DRS. Saving the overtake this time. During the race I was using it down that back straight because I feel like it's more effective at lower speed, so coming out of that hairpin I feel like it was more beneficial to overall lap time. And on that lap 28 decided not to use any, save it all for the back straight. We use a little bit out of that corner just to get close enough. We have to make sure we get the best exit we possibly can. Brennan locks up again. I don't know if that's a visual or if he is actually locking up. It is like red rag to a bull. We know he is struggling. We're going to use all of our overtake down this back straight. Brilliant slipstream. We're going to move to the outside because he defends. Going to brake as late as we can. Don't need to hit the apex. We know he's going to be there. We go around the outside, all the way around the outside, and that's the move done. Of course, we've got another DRS straight here. We've got the DRS though, and losing the last of our overtake, and that's us up into the lead of the race for the second time. And there's not many more opportunities, not wanting to jinx it at all, but not many more opportunities for him to get us back. Only 2 more straights, so if we can keep it tidy, make sure he's not close enough. I can't imagine he would have much ERS either, so if we can just keep it together, then we should be able to bring the win home. He's dropped back now to sort of 9 tenths behind. Must have made a mistake through that second sector. Up to a second now, so we're looking comfortable now. Just need to keep it together through these final corners, and we'll pick up our second win of the season. 2 from 2 in BPRL season 9. As we run wide and somehow didn't get a penalty. I did lift off quite a lot to make sure that we didn't, but heart was definitely in the mouth there because we could have very easily, or the game could have very easily given us a time penalty for that as our 3rd warning.
said he had a fun
but it didn't. As we crossed the line, luckily, because of that, I had to take home the win. A brilliant race, a lot of fun. I definitely didn't feel like I had the pace, but somehow managed to pull it off in the end. So well done to Brennan. Certainly kept me honest. But actually only finishes a few seconds ahead of that chasing pack behind him. But mega job from him to get the hards 28 laps or whatever it was. So yeah, this extends our lead in the championship. I'll quickly just work it out. I think it'd be 17 points going into Vietnam, which is actually tomorrow on the 11th of September. Vietnam is a track I actually enjoy. I had TSRL there yesterday, which I'll upload the highlights for some point in the next few days, hopefully over the weekends. I'm going to try and do commentary on all of these highlights videos. Sometimes might not have the time to do them, but I'll certainly attempt to. Obviously, this is the first commentary I've done, so thanks for bearing with me. I'm sure there's definitely a lot more room for improvement with them, but I'm sure that'll come. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next race.
Yeah, Luke, you go ahead.